Hello everyone and welcome to my seminar presentation on the elective subjects that I've chosen. The elective subjects that I've chosen for this course is Global AI Ethics and Special Topics on AI. The first subject that I will be describing is Global AI Ethics by Professor Isabel Pedersen. The course was knit around 8 of the AI principles. Each week, the assigned principle-related papers were discussed extensively. Particular week class was focused on one of the AI principles, and students were asked to prepare for the discussion which professor would lead. Along with this, each student had to prepare on papers they thought were interesting and would present it in front of the class for a detailed discussion and thoughts and idea sharing. The 8 AI principles were promotion of human values, professional responsibility, human control of technology, fairness and non-discrimination, transparency and explainability, safety and security, accountability and privacy. Some of these principles may sound understandable at the first glance, but had multiple perspectives from different authors, and such papers were assigned to students before a class read, so that each student can express their view on that topic during the class. It was amazing to see how the same paper can lead to different understanding and new outlook towards AI ethics. I learned a lot from this course about ethical decision powers of AI, the social implications of AI, and communication strategies for educating the public about AI. Make us understand ethical assessment of technological advancement along with global, national, and local policy making for stakeholders in light of human rights, laws, standards, and methods for spreading public awareness on the impact of AI through journalism, broadband media, education and training, social media, fiction films, events, and even advertising. Understanding ethics is difficult as two people do not share the same ethical ideas. So, defining ethics for AI globally cannot be an easy task. Despite this, Professor had divided the understanding into 4 categories: ethical philosophies, human rights, value system, applied ethics. The experiments taking place around the globe for a more ethical AI were also highlighted throughout the course at different stages. This was a very interesting topic as everyone nowadays are aware of the presence of AI in their lives. But ethics of AI was something that was not discussed as often as it should have. Fortunately, the trend is changing and new standards are forming to give it the right shape and acceptance throughout the world. I decided on creating my final project on bias of AI recruitment, which addressed the current process and issues with that process. I also suggested some of the ways a combination of unbiased data set along with regular monitoring with white box calculations and regular audits would be one of the ways to mitigate current bias systems. I also researched the ethical concerns around autonomous vehicles and highlighted concerns such as changes in society to completely adopt such an AI. Its effects on lawmaking, city infrastructure, and insurance were also discussed. The thing that I liked the most about this course was that it was a small group of 20 students. Hence, professor was able to concentrate on each student, and the class was very informative and as well as interactive. There were questions around every presentation, and questions were asked from professor were such that the students had to come up with a new thought process and try to connect different AI principles to the current discussion and explain why that was the case. It was a unique way that students were made to think about the results. Additionally, the final project preparation was very unique as we were asked to prepare a completely new solution to make AI more ethical. It was very amusing to see students coming up with not existing but new AI solutions in new fields and present it in the class. The only improvement I would have loved to see was that the class was a complete Zoom and not hybrid. Being in hybrid situation made it a little difficult to hear everyone in the class, but the professor and students within the class tried their best to accommodate everyone online as well as possible. There were still times when the questions asked by the students went a little amiss. The second elective I had chosen was Special Topics on AI by Professor Tosan Williams. This course was again a 12-week course and was focused on using the concept of trust and trustworthiness in AI. It explored the design and incorporation of trust model in machine learning algorithms and AI design. And the concept of trust can factor in the decision-making process of entities. The course was spread into different reading assigned by professor to each group, which was presented every week during the class, and also any question from the students were addressed. Additionally, 3 assignments were done to were towards finding a new solution of trust for existing AI solutions. Finally, final project was based on paper written by Stephen Marsh, What is it like to trust a rock? I understood throughout the course that there are a lot of different ways of representing trust and measuring it. For example, scales from 1 to 0 and to -1. Some basic general and situational trust, computational trust, social technical trust. Different models of trust, such as cognitive, theoretical, and hybrid. Some of the ways trust can be represented were fuzzy model, numbers, logic, and vectors. The trustworthiness aspect will be dependent on trustworthiness of the information system of each organization involved, and the trustworthiness of the channel of the distribution or communication between them. Trust facilitates decentralized decision making, which in turn improves flexibility and response time in the overall system. It also facilitates undistorted communication among social actors. And finally, trust allows different organizations and teams to make smooth partnership and negotiation. In technical system, trust involves the design of technology that promotes security, reliability, dependency, and privacy. These aspects target the functioning of the information system itself in its overall goal of supporting system actors. Since the number of students were very high in the class, the presentations were in group, and I had to present weekly presentation on topic trustworthy AI in the age of pervasive computing and big data, where our presentation summed the trustworthy AI system into 3 components, such as ethics of algorithm, data, and practice. It also discussed the 7 requirements of trustworthy system. Another group presentation was a research paper name called The Relationship Between Trust in AI and Trustworthy Machine Learning Technology, which discussed about trusting machine learning using FEAS model. My final group presentation was based on analyzing trust levels of AV, that is autonomous vehicles, using different trust models. We selected a handful of models and then chose a few of them for comparison. And one of them were chosen from Stephen Marsh's paper, What is it like to trust a rock? I really liked the reading material shared by Professor for the subject, different models of trust, give an even better understanding of what can be done to achieve a certain level of trust. The assignments given by the professor was to apply what we had read through the reading papers and class lectures. Additionally, students were encouraged to select project topics from their choice to make class more diversified in AI solutions, and then apply trust models to it. This made me very happy as I too had conducted a research paper in global AI ethics with autonomous vehicles and was able to extend my research from AI solutions to ways of trusting that solution. Additionally, I had also researched in AI recruitment based in AI global ethics, which was used as a study in assignments to correlate their trust models. Hence, I really enjoyed the subject as it gave me an opportunity to extend my field of research. It was a little difficult to cope with the changing guidelines during the first few weeks of the course, which was maybe due to a very high number of student enrollments. But later during the course, it was all managed by the professor. That is all from my end. Thank you for listening.